All right. Hmm. I'll do it. Hello, cousin Larry. Hello, Larry. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Larry?
Okay, you can hear me now, right?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Good. Thanks for joining.
I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stay, but I needed to be on. So, been missing yours.
Well, which ones have you been joining?
Beg your pardon?
Which ones have you been attending?
Oh, I attend a Poplar Springs, which is people from Mississippi, my part of Mississippi. They're all relatives of mine and shit like that. And then I do other things, you know, the Nevada, I don't even know the name. I'm just trying to gain knowledge, man.
Well, you since I've met you, you've learned a lot.
Oh yeah, but I'm trying to learn more.
Yeah. Well, every every time you reach out and every time you plant seeds, it's a matter of time before it grows.
Yeah, keep learning shit.
Yeah, I have too. And sometimes they bring it to you. You we conducting our research, and all of a sudden somebody comes in with more information that helps you with your fill out your family portrait.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you been in have you traveled lately?
No, I only have one trip planned for this year, and that's to go down to Mississippi. I want to go through the Freedmen's Bureau in Mississippi. I can't. It's not digitized. That's why.
Oh, that's true. I it, but the records are there.
Yeah, I need to go through Lee County and Monroe County records to see if I gain more wisdom. You know, I need to go through the Freedmen's Bureau.
Well, what have you found through the online version?
Well, not through. I haven't done much with the Freedmen's Bureau online at all.
Why?
Well, I've seen what they have, but I'm looking for specific names based upon dates, that type of thing. For example, I found where, like, the guy who was the black overseer and his white uh, cousin was able to go to the Freedmen's Bureau in 1868 and acquire the funds for the first colored school, in that area. And okay, this family, okay, it's the LeGrone family. And anyway, like they know that they have white cousins, and when they have family reunions, they both meet, the blacks and whites. And the LeGrone, I can't off the top of my head, I can't think of the guy's name. He was like the overseer.
Well, we I there's a group that I attend on Fridays. It's called Freedmen's Bureau Friday. Have you heard of that?
No.
Oh yeah, there's a group, a very active professional group. It's called Freedmen's Bureau Friday, and they meet on Fridays at 4 o'clock our time, and they go over the records, the Freeman Bureau of Records. There's
Hey,
a
could you contact me with the link?
Yes, I will. I'll give you the information, and you'll have to ask to be put on their
Okay.
list, to be confirmation.
Okay.
And what they do is each Friday they go over the bureau, the Freeman's Bureau, the overview of it, and then they go into specific details, different records for people who are on the meeting. And sometimes they have upwards between 50 and 75 people on the meetings.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I'd like to attend because I got a few questions.
Well, I'm sure that they'll be glad to have you.
Okay. Yeah, send me that link. I had never heard of them.
Yes, and just so that the Freedmen's Bureau, it was created after slavery and the army was the bureaucracy that ran it, army,
Right, right,
and they,
right,
and they and they made and they had different field offices, so they
right.
had to have somebody who could enforce these contracts, who can enforce these disputes, and who could distribute whatever resources that needed to be resourced.
Right. It was at the beginning of Reconstruction that you had the Freedmen's Bureau.
Correct. For
Well,
about 20,
actually, the Freedmen's Bureau was before uh, Reconstruction started, I believe.
no,
Either
it
way,
was it was part of it because you couldn't you it was part of it because you had to have somebody who could distribute the land, who can give who can settle disputes, someone with authority.
mostly of what the Freedmen's Bureau did initially was about labor contracts.
No, not necessarily labor contracts. They were land grants, all that. The 40 acres in the mule. Do you know how that originated?
That was only in the Gullah country in South Carolina. Uh, yeah, and I think that only lasted 9 months.
No, it lasted longer, and that's why we have this group that are more with the information, and they go into more detail. With the president, after after Lincoln, the president that took over
You're breaking.
the after after President Lincoln, the president who took over Jackson, he
Johnson.
Johnson, yeah, he eliminated the he eliminated some of the 40 acres and the mule.
Right. Actually, 40 acres and a mule. I believe that was, uh, yeah, that was Sherman
Yes,
that instituted because of
General Sherman.
the contraband, the free blacks that were coming into his ranks and stuff. And he instituted the philosophy of 40 acres and a mule. Yeah, but like I said, it was short lived. And Johnson nixed that.
Well, it wasn't necessarily him nixing it. It was the people who were, these former Confederate
No,
soldiers.
that was Johnson
Yeah,
because Johnson had been a former slave owner himself. Johnson was from Tennessee.
correct.
Anyway, Lincoln picked Johnson as his vice president running his second term to kind of console the nation. He thought it would be
Fat
reconciliation with the South
chance.
or whatever.
Fat
But
chance. That didn't work.
obviously,
It didn't take until USS Grant he got in. That was a great president, Grant. So, so you have a plan. You have a trip planned for this year, and you want to go to the Freedmen's Bureau. We have a lot of records online, and it has a search
okay,
engine.
okay, well, maybe I do not know how to use the software because I'm looking for specific counties and specific people. So maybe if you get me hooked up, you all would be able to help me out so I could find what I need or what I'm looking for.
Yes, we will. They have an index of the different locations. They're called field offices,
Right.
and then you have to what area that you're interested in, and the records are in that particular area by the state. They have a certain amount per state. Most of the Freedmen's records are from Virginia, but they have them all across. They had them all across the South.
Mm.
Different field offices ran by the Army.
Yeah.
Well, how you doing, son? Barry Jr.?
Hey, Pop, I'm great. How about you?
Oh
How you doing,
man,
Larry?
huh?
I say hello to Larry too. Hi, Larry.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you.
Yeah,
Happy
Larry.
Easter.
Larry, that's my son, Jerry. Jerry.
Right. His name is written across there. I can still read.
Larry. Just let you know, he's from Vegas. He's our cousin from Vegas.
Oh, right on,
On,
right
on,
on.
on, on,
Wait a
on,
minute.
on on the
Let's
Burnells, the
explore that.
Burnell side, Big Mama side.
Okay, let's explore that. Okay. Um, your second great grandmother was a Robinson.
So continue.
Okay. Well, my great aunt is a Robinson. Naturally, her kids became Robinsons, that type of thing. She married I believe, Clarence Robinson up in Crittenden County. I was thinking that was the way we were related.
That's up in Arkansas, right?
Yeah, Crittenden County.
Yeah,
It's Memphis,
yeah.
Marion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And also just have the emotions.
Well, when we use all the tools, Larry, we can get closer. We can find out what branch are closer. Find out what branch we're related on. But I do know what side of the family it's on, and which one of my grandparents, that you and I are related. Uh, you know,
Maternal or paternal?
yeah, yeah. So my paternal grandmother, my father's mother's side, the Burnells, the Kendricks, Excel. Have you have you considered joining GEDmatch?
I don't know how. I did it like 2 or 3 years ago, and then I got off into a tangent. And yeah, I'd like to do that again.
Larry, that would really help you. It really will help if you join. That's a tool that we use to connect our families, the GEDmatch.
Right.
So we'll definitely. And you know the process. You've done it before, right?
Oh, I, I don't know the process. I have I'm certain I could pull up what my DNA kit is or whatever, but that's about all.
Well, we'll help you with that. That's a tool that we use to connect. But once you have a kit number, we match our kit numbers and we find different relatives from not only Ancestry but different platforms.
Mm.
And that being said, I wanted to continue with the process. Hello, Grace. There she is. I have a question for you, Grace. We were just talking about GEDmatch,
Hmm.
and if you could, that exercise that you showed me when we had our private meeting, I want
Hmm.
to I want to use some of that for this GEDmatch presentation here. And would you be able to help me with that?
Sure.
And especially uh, you found the different chromosomes, and then you were able to go through these, at least those different steps, 1 to 1, the
Hmm.
the
Autosomal 1 to 1.
yes, yes.
Uh-huh. Okay. Give me about 10 minutes.
Okay, please, at your convenience. That's one of the topics. And I want to find out about this one. Let's see if I have it up. Let me try to get this up. A
little bit of pressure last night, traps right here. All right, let's go back in here a little bit and keep on going down river. We'll just keep on working the area from the brush and we stay.
there's one that
Sometimes we are hunting and shaggling, we get out with the gun and it's wham, bam, you're back home processing meat. We enjoy that time of having to go out and spend more time in the woods, become a better hunter. There's two right there. Place a good shot on it. I'm going to be guessing. I'm trying to walk around this way and see if I can get a better look at it. Stay right here.
Okay, on my agenda, one of the first items on the agenda, one of the first items is find a grave, and I want to get through some of these. Have you used find a grave, Larry?
Yeah, yeah, I've used that.
Jerry, there's a program that's called Find a Grave, and people have went and visited different cemeteries. And this platform is they uploaded the information. They've taken photos of monuments, memorials, and they put them on this platform. It's called Find a Grave. And some of the information is correct, some of it isn't, but it's regulated, and 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 you individuals have an opportunity to change and upload additional information to that platform. And I saw my grandfather's a few months ago, and they had the information about him that was incorrect. It was information of a white man. And I noticed that. And so I had to contact him and let him know that the information that you put on there is incorrect. It had the same name, but it's a different person. And and so I was able to get the correct information. I had to verify it with Find a Grave, and then they let me put his information on my grandfather's monument, the correct one, the correct information. And when you use those memorials, they have a lot of information on them. And so while we're here, we can go visit different memorials of our ancestors and our relatives. That's what this platform has. Mary, do you have a, a comment on Find a Grave?
Not really. It really hasn't been one of my major tools. Um, on the paternal, well, on, on on the paternal side, we've got a tri-cemetery, so everybody's there. In fact, this past July, uh, I rummaged through there, and on my maternal side, I know the cemetery where all my people is, the church, New Hope Missionary Baptist Church, you know, or Mount Moriah Cemetery. In fact, Warmth Under Different Suns by Isabel Wilkerson mentions Mount Moriah's church. That was the church that my grandmother and uncles and aunts went to. Yeah. So I know where they are. As far as actually doing any hunting for a specific grave, I really haven't done that much. Every now and then you'll look for something, but very seldom, very seldom. Yeah, very seldom.
Well, let me one thing that happened. One thing what happened with me, I had a relative descendant, second, the second grandparent who passed away in Los Angeles, and then on their memorials, they had other relatives that we found out that by their names that some of their relatives lived here in San Diego, and it was through the graves. They matched the memorials. They had other people's memorials on my city and Reuben Moss's memorials. And I found out there's some people who are their relatives. So that's one of the tools. That's one of the ways that it helps. If you don't explore your history, where your people are,
That's the bottom line right there. But now what I'm worried about is my kids go back and try to
where where your people were buried, and some of the cemeteries, it has a lot of history. The whole communities are at the cemeteries. When they were alive, they were in a certain area, correct? And when they pass away, they're in a certain area, in the area. And you mentioned that about yours, correct? Your family?
Yeah.
What city is that? A town?
Well, parental side, well, Okolona, Mississippi is where Mount Moriah, that's Isabel Wilkerson's book.
maybe get 2 or 3 animals, even one. Yep. Now we start talking.
You've been there?
What?
You've been there? Yeah.
Oh my God. I got first cousins there,
Yeah.
you know, in Okolona, and 9 miles away is my paternal side, which is Shannon, Mississippi. You know, yeah. Yes, indeed, I have. And that's where I'm playing between, okay, Okolona is in Chickasaw County, but that area was Monroe County up until like 1866. You know, they changed the county lines and stuff. And then the other county is Lee County. That's, in fact, okay, Corinth. Are you familiar with Corinth, Mississippi?
Yes.
Okay, it's about 100 miles south of Corinth.
It happened. But see, that's the trick. You've got a low power cartridge. You got a lot of wind. So I always wait for the camera to stop. When it's trying to get closer. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Okay.
Well, let's refine the search. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen with you. All right. In Omaha, Nebraska, that's where I was born and raised. Our, on my mother's side, the family cemetery is called Graceland Park Cemetery Memorials. What I did is I did a search and find a grave. And here's some of the names. I searched the Gildon. And so my it's Gildon. Here's my cousin Bruce Gildon, my my great grandmother, Terry Gildon, my grandmother, Minnie Gildon, Thomas Gildon. And so it has, and John Gildon is my grandfather. And it has their locations, where they're at. And so when you, let's look at John Gildon, my grandfather. Okay, can you still see this? His memorial?
Yeah.
Okay. This John Gildon, and it has family members down below. It has his wife right there, Minnie Gildon. And so this is a tool that you can use to find different your family members, and you can add photos, you can add census to this record, and you can have other. Uh, this doesn't have a photo of him, and like if I wanted to insert a photo for him, I know I have a photo for him. Um, I can I can add a photo to his. The two photos that are there are his headstone, and this is the statistics or who filled out uh, his records, the cemetery records. But if I wanted to have a picture of him, I put add a picture, and I can select a photo. I'll go over to my records of where my where I have my grandmother and grandfather's the Gildon's records, and let's see if we can find one. Just looking here. Granny, grandpa, mom, really. Right, I don't have one there. Oh, but here's a photo of Minnie and John Gildon. I'll do that. Pick that one. This is my grandmother and grandfather, and I'll open it, and it's done. Now what happens is, look at, can you can you see? Can you still see my photo? My screen,
Yeah.
and right here it says a photo added by Jerry Moss. I just added this photo, and this is the photo that I added. So that's the one um, that that my grandmother did for him, and this is his marker, and it has both of them there, John and Minnie Gildon. And I just added one. I just added one to that record, and now you see this on when you look at my grandfather now. It has photo added by Jerry Moss. So those are some of the things that you can do with Find a Grave, and I wanted to share that with you. Did you know that you can add to it, Larry?
Well, once again, I never played around with this much.
Yeah, but that's what you can do. Jerry, do you have a question on that? Are you still here, Jerry? doing something.
What'd you say, Pop?
Hey, do you have a question on that? Did you see that presentation on Find a Grave?
Yes.
Do you have a question on that?
Yeah, yeah. I was checking it out and I was listening to Larry earlier, and sometimes when I'm dealing in business, if I'm having trouble doing something or logging on or something, somebody can like take control of the actual computer. There's a program, and that way we just walk Larry through, about this, boom, hit that one, boom, hit that, and get you registered. I think that might be something worth just trying out. We could do a back and forth between me and you, Pop, to make sure that we understand how it works and that it's not like invasive in terms of people's privacy and stuff like that, that it's legitimate. But I think that might really, if that's something we had the capability to do, that would really help,
Yeah, that's a tool that is a tool that that you can share. You can share the monitor, the actual go inside the computer. They allow you to do that, and
Yeah,
it is a software program. We do that with Eddie and myself. Sometimes we do that.
yeah,
And Larry, when we do, one thing that I can do with him, we've
Do
had
you have Team Viewer?
pardon me.
Do you have Team Viewer? In other words, I could allow you to take over my machine and
Right.
like you could get me set up on GEDmatch.
Yes. Yes, I
That's
know how. Yeah, I don't have it, but my Eddie Eddie Henderson, he performs that task for me. But you're right, Jerry. It is something uh, that you can do. It's an IT process.
that's right.
So, Grace, are you about ready? She said about 10 minutes. So that was the JED match. Uh, no, that was the Find the Grave on part of the agenda. So until she comes back, I'm gonna go to another one now. I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna show you on the computer the new. Did you sign up? Does It's called Pro. Ancestry has a Pro program, and it gives different kind of comparisons. And
uh,
I'll show you how it goes. Okay, it's called Pro Tools. So can you see the screen?
it's blank right now.
Okay, let me put it up. Now, can you see it? This is my home screen.
No, it's still just blank.
It
You know,
is?
Yeah.
it's black.
Okay, let me get it. There.
No,
That didn't come up.
no.
Okay, let me move it over here.
There you go.
Okay.
You can see it over there, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
And it's big. It's clear, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Here's what we got. Ancestry has a new program. It's called Pro Tools, and we've been using it. And I'm going to give you some examples of it. On my tree, this go to DNA match. So on DNA matches, can you see my matches?
Yeah.
Okay. I also have access to other trees that I have I manage, and I'm also the editor on trees. Right here, I'll do this fly down. Look, these are the different names. I have I have access to the trees, and here's my wife's tree, my son Donnell's, and my brother Dale's, and so I can go in and conduct some of the research where they don't have to pay these different costs because everything that these new bells and whistles, there's a cost to it. But anyway, in Ancestry, now when you get your results, you this is all my matches. The one who matches me the highest is my son Jerry, who's here, and then the measurements are the centromorgan, and the centromorgans is like a tape measure. Yeah, it's a tape measure, and I have 7,000 DNA units, centromorgans, 7,000 centromorgans, and half of my centromorgans, DNA centromorgans, is 3,500. And so my kids have half of my 7,000. So that's why Jerry matches me. You see that? Right about 3,400 centromorgans. And he shares 50% because he's my son. So half of my DNA goes to him. And that's how you start making matches with different people by the length of their DNA. And it starts off with 7,000, and then it's half is him. And then my grandson is half of that. So my grandson, he's 1,700, half of 3,400 is 1,700. And I had his test. It's this, and my granddaughter. So there's Destiny and Delon. And that's what they're at, right? 19, 1,800. So so they go in half. Now, do you have any questions at this time? Is there anything that you want to see that you see on my screen, Jerry, or Larry?
No, I mean,
Okay. With this format here, this is all my matches. Over here it says all, but I also, people, Ancestry does now, it separates parent side, one your mother's side and your father's side. So this separate my matches, and these are all my matches. I have Jerry, Donnell, Bridget, and look at all of them are in the 3,400s. And I'm 7,000 now. So those are my kids. And so they're half. And the centromorgans, okay? Now, let's go by parent. And look what it does for us. Can you see this string? The paternal and maternal. Ancestry now separates your DNA by your mother's side and your father's side. So sometimes people don't know anybody on their father's side. Well, Ancestry now, it separates them. So that's a help that we didn't have. We still was able to do it, but now they're helping us with the process. So there they are. So these people here, there's 9,000 on my father's side, and and these are some of the names: Burnell, Jackson, Moss. Those are the ones that are most common in the different DNA matches. And on my maternal side, here they are. And their names are Ellison, Gildon, Miller, and there's 9,000 of them. So if I want to just check my DNA compared to everyone who matches my mother's side, I I would click on view matches for my maternal side. And if it was from my father's side, I'd say view matches for him. Okay.
All right. Hey, Jerry,
Go ahead.
while you're here, show me how I'm related to you on your Burnell side.
Okay. I'm going.
Actually, I believe what you would do is go all the way through to where you've got I think we're about 15 centimargins. You
Yeah.
know, you have to
Well,
go all the way down to about 15 centimargins and
well,
then
let's do
look for
let's
me.
do let's do let's do it like this, Larry. Let's use the program. I'm gonna go by parent, and I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna view matches on my paternal side because this is the paternal side that I believe that you're related to me on.
Right.
And then I'm gonna do a search over here. Over here, search. And what is the trice, right? Trice.
Yeah.
Trice. And let me do a search.
Okay. No matches.
No, no, just a minute. Okay, okay. That's that's down to 8. Let me put it up at the top.
Yeah, put it in the match name.
Here you are, Larry, right here. Now let's take a look at it. There you are. Now it's 11 Central Morgans. I'm gonna do a comparison, you and me. Okay. So can you see you and I the comparison right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do the share matches. Okay. Here's some of the people I have I have put when I have matches and I match my father's side or my mother's side, I put an F for fathers, M for mothers. And the first person you match me with, this Christian Rogers, she matches me 21 Central Morgans, Larry, but she matches you 54. Okay. So that's her. And let's take a couple look at some other ones. And that's what this is triangulating our other matches, who matches you and me. And
But that's not triangulation, though.
what is it?
That what this is that you both you both match each other. But that don't mean that you're triangulating on that same chromosome. You're just matching each other.
Correct. Thanks for
So,
clarifying that, Grace.
okay, go back up to the top and where it says group search, and then it says sort.
I don't see that.
Oh, here.
Right
It's over
there.
here. It's over here, Larry.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay.
So click
So,
on sort,
okay.
and then right now it's on your relationship, how close your matches are. But click on that second one where it says Larry Trice relationship, Larry close to matches. So now they're going to show the shared matches that are closest to Larry.
Okay.
Okay, you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so now you see that very first match is either Larry's half sister or either it's his aunt. So Larry, is that your half sister or is that your aunt?
Yeah.
Which one?
Sister. Sister.
Okay, so that's your half sister. And then Vernice Autry. Is she your first cousin or is she your half
First
aunt?
cousin.
Okay. And what side is that on?
Maternal.
Okay, so on your maternal side. Okay.
And here's that Christian Roberts. See it right there? A couple of them down. But
Okay.
yeah, and uh, so there they are. Let me see.
So Larry, do you know that Kanika McNeil?
I know, no, I do not know Kanika McNeil. And I'm like, that's almost like a derivation of my aunt. My aunt's name is Neil, but this is McNeil. Yeah, so I don't know Kamika.
She
Now,
matches you
Jerry, do you know
111.
her?
Do I
Jerry,
know her? No,
mm-hmm.
no.
Okay.
Let's see if
Because
see if
Larry,
let me see. Let me see
she's your
this.
second cousin. So you share a great grandparent.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
This Kamika, right?
Uh-huh, Kamika.
Kamika.
Mm-hmm.
Let me take a look at her. And the shared matches of her.
9.
Uh, I'm trying to see which one of these people that I don't know any of them. Kamika. Oh, here it is. She matches you. There you are, the 118. But Larry, let me do this real quick. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to you, and I'm gonna show you how to answer your question. Let's go to this Karen Rogers. Karen Rogers. Now look, Karen Rogers and me. Now look what happens. She matches Jerry also. See that? She matches Jerry, Trish, my niece Trish. So this is how I'm telling you how I know what side of the family that you match me on. And and here's a Lauren Lawrence, Andrew Young, 30, 32. There's a 72 Sims. So it's on, most of these are on my mother's side with this person, with Christian. There they are, Purdy and Christian. So
Hey,
that's, yeah.
Pop, a lot of those names, like I don't recognize them. Are those potential family members? Like
Oh,
I saw how you were just going down. You were just going down the
yeah, those are family members. They're all
they are,
DNA matches.
and but we don't know who they are physically, right?
No,
Right.
we don't know where they are.
Right.
We don't know. We know what side of the family they are, but we don't know where they at in the family.
So
Gotcha.
that's why you have to take a look at their tree to see who they have in their tree.
So so Larry, did
Yeah.
I did I answer your question? Here's you and me,
Well,
and
it gives me something to play with. Um, I believe I have the Pro Tools. I paid 6 months in advance, and actually I've been using family search. I've been reading, like I don't know how to use the software properly, you know, but yeah, I've got something to go play with now.
okay, and that's what this is with it compares two DNA kits, and that's what how we found out where we're at. Because some of my
Okay.
relatives, it's on my mother's side, some of them on the on the you see that paternal, and some of them are maternal. So uh, that's how this journey started. When you matched me, I reached out to you, and then we wanted to figure out how we are related.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions before we go into the next portion of the presentation? Grace,
Well,
gonna
like I said, I've got to go and play with that software,
correct.
you know, and go from there. And I know how to get a hold of you if you'll respond.
You got it. You got it. Well, Grace, could you tell us a
Uh,
little bit about yourself? And before you do a presentation with us, uh, we'd appreciate it. We'd love to meet you. Where you live, and who are some of the surnames you're researching.
Okay. I was born in Florida, but uh, my maternal grandmother was born in Florida, but her parents were born in Florida and South Carolina. And that's on my maternal side. And on my paternal side, my grandfather and grandmother were both born in Spartanburg, South Carolina. My grandfather on my paternal side was, he came from enslaved, he wasn't born in slavery, but his parents were born in slavery. And on my father's maternal side, his mother, she wasn't born in slavery, and none of her people were born in slavery. So she comes from free people of color from Spartanburg, South Carolina. My surnames are Miller and Hardy.
excuse me, Grace. Were you able to find them in the census
Yes.
as shown? Okay, very good.
hmm I found them in the 1860, 1850, 1840.
Right, right. See, one side of my family, from 1820 up until 1870, you can find them as being free persons of color.
Uh-huh.
But my side, okay, two brothers. One was Ned and the other one was Nelson.
hmm
From Nelson,
Okay.
that was born in 1807. Well,
Uh-huh.
Virginia changed their miscegenation laws
Right.
in 1806,
hmm
and Nelson left Virginia, where
Right.
Ned stayed there, and he's in every census as a free person of color.
Wow. So I forgot what year was that? What law was that they had to leave by
1 year, they had 1 year. In 1806,
yeah.
the law was changed. Ned was born in 1804. Nelson was born in 1807. Nelson had to split.
Right. Right.
And see, I've been trying to find him,
hmm
and in South Carolina, one of the census shows him from South Carolina,
Oh, okay.
but I can't find him as a free person of color. And then I have been researching my his son or my great grandfather's Civil War records, and I found
Uh-huh.
the his enlistment into
Oh, okay.
the Union Army, U.S. 59th Regiment of the U.S. Colored Troops.
Now, did you
And it
send off
showed,
for that record?
beg your pardon?
Did you send off for that record?
No, I found it in a compilation book. I could pull the stuff.
Yeah, but you have to send off to get that record because it's going to be pages. There are
No,
pages of it.
that record was online from me. Um, like I said, it's in a computation book.
Right, but there's more information other than what's on that record.
uh, I thought I did a pretty well. The whole thing is it shows him to be out of Greene County, Alabama, and I had never heard of that before.
But but when you send off for his information, you're going to get a whole lot of information, and you're going to get like 100 pages of stuff about
Well,
him.
that's what I'm trying to send off for his pension. You
No,
know,
you have to send that. You have to send off for that.
right,
You
right.
have to
For
go on the
that,
National Archives. You have to go on NARA.
well, actually, I have to go through the VA on that. Okay, NARA. Okay, up until 1930. My great grandfather passed in 1932, and they referred me to go through the VA because I actually filled out all the form on NARA, and then they kicked it out because his death was after 1932, or was after 1930.
Have you gone through the VA?
I've tried, but I haven't filled out the paperwork yet with the VA.
Okay.
So it looks like you two have something in common. If you could you exchange your contact information and chat, and she can follow up with you when you do uh,
Sure, I can do that.
get that information, Larry. Thanks, Grace.
Well, she was going to give
You're
us a
welcome.
synopsis of GEDmatch.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
All
know,
right.
but we're making sure you're covered, my beloved cousin. Okay, okay, Grace. Uh, GEDmatch.
Okay. Let me
Make sure that I got it set up for you to share screen. Oh,
okay. I'm going to pull up GEDmatch.
okay. And I have mine open too.
Okay. Okay. So, um, Larry, do you know how GEDmatch works? Do you know how to sign in to GEDmatch?
Okay, no, I do not.
Okay. I'm going to go back then. Let me
You can use mine.
no, I'm just going to just go back
Your presentation.
uh to the I'm going to go back to where he could sign in so I can show him, how you sign in.
Okay,
Okay.
I have been up on GEDmatch, let's say 3 or 4 years ago, when I first got hooked up with Jerry. I,
Oh, okay.
I was able to sign up for with GEDmatch,
Hey,
but
did you upload your raw DNA?
Yes, I'm certain of that, and that
Oh, wow.
I had hundreds or thousands.
Okay, so do you have your kit number?
But no, in fact, okay,
Do you remember your password? Did you write it down?
probably not. But see, these are things. Okay, I as far as kit number, because I've done like four different DNA tests.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to take the latest DNA test, and if I can't find the kit number, I'll call Ancestry and get the kit number.
No, 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 no. I'm talking about the kit number for GEDmatch. That's what I'm talking about.
No,
When,
I have no idea. I
okay,
have no idea of how to even acquire a kit number.
okay. So so did you upload your DNA to GEDmatch?
Well, yeah. Uh,
Okay, so then when you upload your DNA to GEDmatch, they assign you a kit number.
and
I
once
tell you what,
again, I have no
what's your
idea.
email address? I'll find out if you have one. Um,
I use Lawrence D.W. Trice
okay.
at gmail.com. Lawrence.
Wait
E.
a minute. You're going too fast for me. I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
there yet. Okay, wait. Okay. Okay.
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Yes, ma'am. D as in David, W as in Wilson, Trice, T as in Tom, okay, at gmail.com.
Oh, yeah, I put it in the wrong spot. Okay, there you
Whoa,
go.
whoa, look at that, Larry.
So you got yourself in there and you have Oscar in there.
Okay, here's another thing. Oscar is my 88-year-old first cousin, one time removed,
Okay.
and I bought him a kit, and I don't know if it'll be me or if it'll be Oscar's DNA. It's
We'll
yeah.
see. Okay.
Okay, okay, just a minute, dear Grace. I want to copy these numbers down.
Okay.
XH19.
So Larry, you want to copy down your numbers?
I'll take a picture of it.
Go, Grace, go, Grace, go.
Okay.
And then let's see, this other one is Oscar. Oh, yes. And who is Oscar, Larry?
Your
Uh,
first cousin, one time removed.
yeah.
He's what?
First
First
cousin, one
cousin,
time
one time
removed.
removed.
How did you get it? How did you get him to do that, Larry?
Well, he's the oldest coherent member of the Trice clan.
Yeah, and we talked about that, didn't we? Get the oldest person, and you did it. Okay, I'm good. Wow, that's awesome.
But once again, I do not know if that is me or if that's Oscar's kid. Well, kid number is in Oscar's name. Oh, there are two separate kids then.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, very good. Okay.
Yours is the top one, and his is the bottom one.
Okay.
Now you have it, Larry. Now you have it. Now here
Okay.
she goes. You work your magic. I'm gonna move it over to the big. So Grace, what's your next exercise? What do you do? Oh, you comparing those two, Grace? So Grace, can you all hear me?
I'm steady talking and I'm muted.
Yeah, you muted.
So, yeah. So can you see his mattress?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's
So
him. That's him. That's him and his uncle, right?
and his first
Cousin.
cousin.
Yeah,
Yeah. These are the people that they match.
yeah.
Now the first cousin ha- shares 25.7 to QB, but he only shares 13.7 with QB,
So what's your
which is it's low. It's a low match. Um,
what?
now John McDonald has his tree on Wikitree. So I'm going to click on it to see who he has in his tree. And he has people from Alabama in his tree. The Youngbloods and Cox. Do you have any surnames of the Youngbloods or Cox or Philly from Alabama?
No, but my my mother's father is from Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I just found out that my great grandfather uh, was from Greene County, Alabama.
Now, Greene County, is that near Blunt, Alabama or Birmingham?
Well, okay, it's right in the middle of the state. It is the least populous county, I believe, in the country. There are only 7,000 people in that county, and I believe it's like 70 or 80% black.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me for a minute. I want to welcome Denise.
Hello,
Hi,
Denise.
happy Easter, everyone.
Yeah, happy Resurrection Day.
And Denise is she's an administrator of Wiki Tree,
Wikitree.
and we just started this. My cousin Larry, he had some matches. We're up in GEDmatch, just to bring you up to date, Denise, and they just switched over to see what relative that he had in his Wiki Tree.
Okay.
And so I'm just bringing you up to date. So if there's anything that you see that you can add to this, yeah, a Grace, you two you can work it out, can't you?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I was just showing him because John McDonald had his tree, and he was the only one that has uploaded a tree that where you can see their tree of the ones that were uh, Oscar is Larry's first cousin one time removed, and Oscar is 88 years old. So now I'm going to look at Larry's one to many matches. Mhm.
Why did you do the 7,500 limit?
That's the highest you can go
For what?
on GEDmatch. To the limit to see your DNA matches.
Okay.
That limit is seeing your DNA matches.
So,
Hmm.
okay.
Okay.
Okay. If you're having a challenge with that one, uh, while we have them, because this is one thing I wanted to ask Larry, can we do people who match two kits, his kit and my kit, when you get a chance? Larry,
Okay.
that's how we're going to, answer your question about what branch you and I are related on.
Okay. What's your kit number?
Mine is FE 9687385.
Was that F like Frank?
Yes.
Okay.
FE 9687385.
Okay. So they came up. And
And
Larry's
his,
highest match is
pardon me,
Kim T.
pardon me.
Larry's highest match is Kim T. Can you see it? Kim T.
Yeah, I see
Yeah,
it.
I have no idea.
But look at that. That's 457 Centimorgans.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
get this. The third one down is Ellen Stanfield.
Uh-huh. Do you
Okay, Ellen Stanfield is my European cousin. We both share the same great grandfather.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, here's her
No, I've actually physically met her a couple of years, 2 or 3 years ago
Mm-hmm.
Now,
on
what
one of
is
my
this?
odyssey.
What is this? I can't see the top, Grace. I can't see the top.
I changed it. Can you see it now?
Oh,
The
okay.
top.
Is that his? They did it did process his, what you're saying, right? His individual.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
These are
Okay,
individual.
okay, there you
Now
go.
she has her tree in ancestor in GEDmatch. So I'm gonna take a look at her tree.
7 generations.
Mm-hmm. Very small. Uh, okay. Now, who's the great grandfather that you share? What's his name?
William Silas Wilson. He would be the son of the man who used to own my grandfather's mother.
Is this him here? William Wilson, born October 17th, 1802 in Tennessee.
No, that's not him. His name is William Silas Wilson.
Yeah, but this is a William Wilson, but she didn't put his middle name in there.
Okay. No, well, see, the death is wrong. William Wilson was born approximately 1856 and
Okay, so this is
passed away
probably his son.
in 19. No, Elias Wilson would be the father of William Wilson.
Okay, here he is down here. I see him. You see him here?
Yeah,
So he fathered your what? Your great grandfather or your grandfather?
my grandfather,
Okay.
my maternal grandfather. Yeah.
Wow. This your first time seeing this, Larry?
Oh, hell no.
Presented like this on GEDmatch?
Oh, presented on GEDmatch, yes.
So okay. Well,
And
there
in
it is.
fact, hey, Grace, look,
Uh-huh.
There you go, Jerry.
okay. Okay.
There you go.
4 years ago, because of DNA, I found out that my father did not father me. Okay.
Uh-huh.
I just found this out. So if you would, could you check uh, Oscar Trice's
Okay.
GEDmatch and see where he's at?
Okay.
This is your life.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was going to do that. I was going to just see where he maybe that's why you're
Percentages are so low
uh-huh.
because I'm actually not a Trice.
Right, you're not. But he's a Trice.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do that.
No, that's my number.
Yeah.
Can, can you see people who match both kids? Can you put his number and my number in there?
Yeah, but first I want to look at Oscars.
His dad, his first cousin.
Uh-huh. So that must be your first cousin on your mother's side then.
No, it would be my first cut. cousin on my father's side, but once again, we're probably not blood related because my mother,
Right.
right.
Exactly. I was going to say that. Although you have matches in common, you and Oscar.
Yeah.
Let's do the first 500 and see what comes out.
Well, this science is very specific, isn't it?
Well, numbers don't lie.
Woo, my goodness.
Now, Oscar has Lillian Jane Price.
Lillian J. Price. Lillian. The name Lillian, but I'm just looking at
What's
Stephen Turner.
what's the significance of that, Grace?
Well, because remember you were going to put Price in, are you related to the Price, Larry?
No, no.
Oh, okay. Do you know Stephen Kerner?
Stephen Turner. No, no, I don't know any of these.
Well, they
I tell
match
you what,
you.
go to the top, the highest center margins, and I'll call Oscar and ask him about it, at a later date. Let me,
With Stephen Kerner?
yeah, let me make a copy. I'm taking a picture of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Because he matches you
Well,
119 centimorgans.
I'm going to see if you match him or not. I'm going to put, there's one Lawrence in. Oh, that's. Oh, his, oh, it's your email. You don't match him at all. You don't come up in his matches.
You don't match who? Who's that?
He doesn't match
I,
Oscar.
He doesn't match Oscar.
No. Is Oscar in Ancestry?
I, once again, I bought him a kit. I don't think that his kids did anything with establishing a tree or anything.
Right, but I wanted to see if you were in his matches on Ancestry.
No, no, I am not.
Okay, so no, you're not related because you're not a Trice.
Yeah, I just carry the name.
Right. So did you figure out who your father was?
I believe, yes. His name is Robert L. Smith, born in 1904 in Tallahatchie, Mississippi.
How'd you find that out?
Uh, through the hits that I was getting on Ancestry. I didn't know none of these people, you
And this,
know.
and they're matching you. Hi, right?
One was a first cousin. Yeah, yeah, they're all, starting like at 1,000 centimargins
Oh
and
yeah. Okay. There
six
you
and
go.
seven. Yeah,
All right.
yeah. But Robert L. Smith, 1904.
Okay. Well, this is your life, Larry. You have been,
It is what it is.
and this is my life, your life, and This GEDmatch is a powerful tool. You see how we're using it.
Mm-hmm.
And Grace she's awesome to even find your kit number. From not knowing to today having your kit number, it goes a long ways, especially when she compares your kit number to mine. Because I know we related, cousin. And you want mine? She has it. Oh no, she's doing his. She's doing you again, Larry. She's trying to, she's really pressing this one. Let's see, is there anyone? QB.
Tricia Crawford.
Who are these two kids, Grace?
This
Oscar and
would,
Larry?
yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Grace, is there any way that you could send this page to me? She has her mic muted again.
What we'll do is we got the numbers. Oh, I gotta ask her when she
Right.
Gracie.
I'm gonna send it to him.
And the other thing, how would he log on to GEDmatch? If you were able to get it, how would he be able to on his own log on to GEDmatch?
Okay. I'll show you. That's what I was showing him in the beginning. I have to go to home.
Grace, Grace,
Okay, so I will log out.
Grace,
I'm gonna,
Grace.
uh-huh.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm gonna record this, and then I'm gonna send it to whoever needs it.
I thought, Jerry, aren't you recording the session?
I'm just
Yes.
saying. I'm gonna get it to him real quick. Okay, go ahead, Grace. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm ready.
okay. I need to. I think maybe I'm just gonna get, okay. I'm just gonna get a new page so we can just start over. So you're gonna type in GEDmatch.com. And it's gonna bring you up to the screen. And then you're gonna click on sign on. And then you're gonna scroll down. Well, see, I already have my
Yours is open.
right. So you're going to come up where it says to type in your username, which is your address, which is your email address, and your password. And since you probably don't remember what your password is, there's going to be something there where it says uh, where you can retrieve your password or make a new password. And then once you're signed on, you're going to come to this first page, which is your profile page. And it's going to show the kit. So it's going to have your kit and probably Oscar's kit, because you're both using the same email address.
Right.
And then on the right-hand side, under information, is where you can look up to see if other people are on GEDmatch. And the only way you can look up their kit number is either you have to know the kit number or you have to know their email address or a GetCom number. And then they have their terms of service and their privacy policy and GEDmatch information about you. There's even GEDmatch education, where they have videos to show you how to use the tools that's on GEDmatch. And since you already know this because you've already uploaded your DNA here, and this is the free tools.
Okay, can we do part two? Because I want to go to another topic.
Okay, so you wanted me to share between you and
Yeah,
Larry.
yeah. Thanks, Jerry.
Hey, no problem. Hey, hey, Larry, if you could, what's your email address, Larry?
I'll give you something easy. Larry Trice, the number
Hold
two.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. You have to do that in the chat because cause, please put it in the chat, Jerry.
That makes sense, Larry. Put it in the chat.
Let's see if I can.
You want mine? Fe. So, hey, Jerry, we're gonna have to get your if you agree to it to upload your information to your raw data to GEDmatch. Delon's up there. Yours isn't up.
So then I can get, all these girls talking about I'm the baby's daddy and all this and that, and then I'm everything I just work for just going down the drain and all that. That's what you want from me, Pop? Is that what you want?
Oh no, I'm just saying, man. It is what it is. The
No, no,
truth,
no.
the truth can't be hidden.
I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm with it, Pop.
Then we're doing these kind of tools. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
We're
sir.
doing this kind of information. Okay, Larry. These are the two kits, and what we have is this 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 Daniel Woodson, 19 for me and 12 for you.
And then TapeQ.
Yeah, and that's 17. Yeah, the few.
Do you know TapeQ?
No, I don't. But that sounds familiar.
Jennifer Johnson.
No, let's look at some more.
And this is David.
I don't know him.
Amanda Weinbrenner.
No,
And she's in there twice because she uploaded two different kits.
there's three of them, and that's one person that we're all, Larry. We're we
Hmm.
matched that person.
Really uploaded two. And then
No,
Anna Wallace.
no. And what is the GEDmatch for?
Okay, this means that they uploaded their kit, their GEDmatch family tree. That's what that means.
Okay.
So you can upload a GetCom into GEDmatch.
Okay. Are there very many more? Uh,
Okay.
could, are they very more? If any, very many more? Okay, that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, Larry. So we'll take a picture of that, but I still would, uh, look at our match and our shared matches on
Go to the
Ancestry.
top. Scroll to the top.
Please, Grace, could you go to the top, please, so we can take a picture of that right there? That Woody Johnson. All right. Okay. 17, 17, 10, 10, and the Pew. Is there any way of knowing which ones are Ancestry? Is that A over there at Jennifer Johnson? Is that an Ancestry one? Do we know if that's an Ancestry?
Yes, that's Ancestry. M is 23andMe, A is Ancestry, and F or T, no, T is Family Tree DNA.
Okay, so here's that Jennifer Johnson. She'll show up. She'll match both of us, Larry, and she did.
Right. The
She
only
met.
thing about this is that Jennifer Johnson is 16.8 and she's 11.2. She may or may not show up in Ancestry because Ancestry's algorithms are different. And because of their timber, it could be lower than,
The cutoff.
it could be lower on Ancestry.
Okay.
So it may or may not show up on Ancestry.
But we see some common people. I took pictures of it also, and it'll be on my recording.
Okay.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
is there anything else that you want to share on that? Like the
And here are the email addresses. So you may want to pick another picture that where you have their email address and you can email them.
Yeah. Would you show us on on GEDmatch the differences? This is the one who matches two kids. Like
This
you
is the
know,
1, 2 kids for
yeah,
you and
yeah. But I'm talking about
for you and Larry. For you and Larry.
what about the ones that had the chromosomes that you showed me, and those, just so we'll know for the beginning person
Okay, you want
what's
to know
available.
exactly where you match on that chromosome.
Yeah.
That's what you mean.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
This is the tool that GEDmatch has.
Okay. So that's the one-to-one autosomal tool. This is a one-to-one autosomal DNA comparison tool. So I'm typing the number here, FE9687385. I doesn't show that you match at all.
I don't either. That's one of
Now,
the that's one of the tools we use, correct?
Yeah, this is the one-to-one DNA comparison tool.
Okay.
It doesn't show that you match. So where does it show you match on Ancestry?
Yes. And it's 11 centimorgans. 100%.
Oh, this is Oscar. I'm sorry. I did Oscar. All right, let me type in
XH, yeah. 195.
Okay, come here. I will take you outside. You wanna go outside?
okay. So you match on chromosome 8. So you may want to copy these numbers down. You're on chromosome 8. The start position is at 52,308,575 to 68,697. Oh, mistake.
Watch
How
this.
did that come up?
Watch this, Larry and Jerry. Watch this, what she does. That's chromosome number 8. None of the other ones, did you go down further? There's none other ones? That's the only one.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Okay.
Okay, 68, 697,
Look at those
834.
centimorgans. What, 14.9 centimorgans?
Yeah, 14.9.
That's good.
Okay. So remember that. So I'm going to show you on chromosome 8. Yeah, that's all that you share, just one segment.
Okay.
So we're going to go over to, in free tools, I'm going to go where it says add mixture heritage. And then I'm going to click on, yeah, I'm going to click on Joe the Cat. And I'm going to paint the differences between two kits and one chromosome. And I'm going to enter FB9 687 385. And then I'm going to XH 1955 319. And I'm going to 319. I'm going to type in your chromosome 8.
You said 6 there. You put 6 in.
I know, I made a mistake.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to continue. And it's going to show Jerry's chromosome at the top and Larry's at the bottom. So on here, the red is East European. This little brown color is West European. This is someone that was lived during the Mediterranean time period. The yellow is Neo-African. This olive green is like a West Asian. That little light green is South Asian. Then you have that, I guess that's a sort of like a Irish green, that's Northeast Asian. And then that light turquoise or blue color is Southeast Asian. So we're going to start at, and this word is on your, on Jerry's is at the top. And this is Larry at the bottom. So this pink is Paleo-African here. This pink, and then that yellow is that Neo-African. So Jerry, you have a lot, I mean, Larry, you have a lot of that Neo-African. And there's, this is like East African here. This color here is East African. And there's burnt orange. This is for Jerry, that's West European. And this is Mediterranean here. And this is East African. And this lavender is like Paleo African. But where you match on this third one is at 52. So we're going to scroll over to the right to 52. So the black is where you don't match. So this is 50, this is 51, this is 52. So you match up here. And that's where the African, remember that lavender was a Paleo-African?
Yeah.
And that yellow was Neo-African?
Mm-hmm.
So you went from 52 to 68. So you went from here all the way up the top to here, 68. Just at the top is where you match on that chromosome. So that's someone that's an African, where you match on that chromosome.
Okay. You don't get very much scientific to that, do you, Larry?
You're muted, Larry. We can't hear you.
I said I'm just trying to follow it. You know.
What about you, Jerry? Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
What's your comment on the tool and how Grace is explaining it to us?
It's pretty much self-explanatory. You get in there and you start, you take a few minutes and really get in there and blow the charts up. You can kind of see, it kind of tells a story, tells its own story. If you can study the charts, when you give yourself about an hour or so and just kind of go through and just kind of look at what's going on, and then what's happening at that time. I mean, it's extraordinary to me.
Thank you, Grace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions for her as she stops sharing her screen?
No, but Grace, that was great. Thank you so much, Grace.
You're welcome.
You're the bomb.
Hey, Grace, I want to stay in touch with you.
Okay. I'm going to email you your one-to-many list, okay?
Okay.
It'll be in a spreadsheet.
All right.
Denise, would you give us a overview about give us a brief intro of you and who some of your who you're who are you searching for, and would you give us a presentation on Wikitree, please?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's
And
see here.
about where you're at, like you live in Cincinnati or what? Cleveland, is it?
No, I'm just southeast of Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. Okay. Just give us your some information and, and share us with the value of this Wikitree. Thank you, Grace.
Yeah, thank you, Grace. I do so much for everybody else. I haven't had a chance to do a lot of research for my family on GEDmatch, but hopefully I'll get there someday.
Well, you see, there's a connection. She sure is, talented.
Yes, yes.
Sure, she'll be able
Um,
to help you.
yeah, once I get ready to do that. But the purpose of Wikitree basically is to uh, show how everyone is connected. It's a single global tree. So when you add your family members, you are adding yourself to this global tree in hopes to be matched to that tree. Um, and sometimes it means you have to go back several generations to be matched. Um, what you're looking at here is my profile. Um, the premise behind Wikitree is that one profile per person, one profile. And that's how it differs from Ancestry, because with Ancestry, you've got a lot of different people building their own family trees. And sometimes when you do like through matches or the through lines, there's errors because one person has an error in their tree and then somebody else copied from that tree and so on and so forth. But in Wikitree, it's one tree. So we only allow one profile per person. You're not going to have 15 different profiles for Jerry Brent Moss Sr. per se. Um, you'll just have the one. Now, in this particular, on my profile, I've actually identified the different surnames that I'm following. And you'll see that Moss is here because I have Mosses on my maternal ancestor side. Um, so I do look periodically. I do get to look at the family. But right now I'm still adding those profiles to Wikitree. Here, other folks that are members of Wikitree that have identified that they have taken a DNA exam here on the right. It's showing where they've taken their exam and how you can access that information. So for example, here's mine and it shows my GEDmatch number if anybody is interested in that. And it also has my ancestry that I did a DNA test through Ancestry. My cousin Cheryl did a DNA test through 23andMe. And again, this would be a cousin. If you're related to me, Jerry, you would also be related to her because she's on my maternal side. These two people are cousins of mine on my father's side. So they're on the paternal side, but it also gives you an idea of how close they are to me in terms of a DNA match. And that's about as far as that goes with Wikitree. So you don't want to use Wikitree to do DNA analysis. You would only use Wikitree to get hints of who you're connected to by DNA on any given profile. Also, I have in my family tree the surnames that I'm researching, as well as notable family members. Um, I have them listed as well. So if anybody's looking at my profile, then they can take a look and say, oh, okay, she's got a Harlem Globetrotter in her family. Yeah, that's my cousin.
Mhm.
So, and again, these are just a list of the surnames. And again, there's Moss. So if I click on that Moss, it'll take you right to who that is. This is Susan Moss. And again, she's from Virginia, was born in 1807. I don't know when she passed away, but when she did, it was in Columbiana, Alabama. And for me, that's where the brick wall is. So whenever I get back to researching, I'll be doing it from that area. And of course, her husband was Edmund Moss, and there has been documentation that shows that he also had the long S when he spelled his name, so it was Mofs, because when you go further back, a lot of those Mosses were spelling when it was a double S, they'd have the long S. Um, are there any particular questions you have around Wikitree or how to navigate through Wikitree?
How can you find an ancestor that was, before 1900? Can you use this as a tool, Wikitree, to find your ancestors before 1900? Like starting with yourself?
Only if they're already there. So like I can click on here because it's recently been changed. So now there's a tab here that says ancestors. If I click on that tab, it's going to show the ancestors. In this case, it's showing the ancestors of Susan Moss. And again, that was my brick wall, so I don't have anything there. These are the only people I have is Susan, her husband Edmund, and then her children, Margaret.
Yes. Fading a little bit. Or is that mine?
To load that.
Okay.
And my internet connection is unstable, so but yeah, so it gives me a breakdown of how many descendants I have recorded in Wikitree right now. Now, the beauty of this is I can go to a particular person. Let's say let me go to Margaret. And any sources that I have, those sources are actual records. In this case, these records came from Family Search. And that's what I use as my citations or my proof of the data I've recorded in Wikitree. You always want to have your citations and have your proof. So in this case, like I've got the 1870 census where she was 46 years old and the head of household. It also enables me to actually, so that you don't have to go to Family Search, I actually include that record that's in Family Search, a duplication of that record. So like for the 1870 census, here's a list of the people that were in that household. And if you want to go to Family Search, here's the links to do that. But if you don't want to go to Family Search, I've got this information here. Now, some people like to include it, some people don't, that household information, but I choose to do it because it's a lot easier to look at that and see if there's more people I need to research or look into.
So Denise, how did you put that? How did you put that source in there?
If you have the Wikitree browser extension, you will have the ability to add that. So I would go at when you have the Wikitree browser extension, and then you add the Wikitree sourcer. So if I
Oh,
go
so I
to
have to go to Chrome to get that
yes,
extension.
exactly. You'd have to go to Chrome to get those extensions.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have the Wikitree sourcer extension, it'll give you options for that sourcer. So I can, on this profile, I can do additional research on Ancestry or on Find My Past or on Family Search. also find a grave. I can do even more search within Wikitree. And there's other sites there as well. But then you also have the option when you're in the edit mode, you have the option when you're on like family search or when you're on Ancestry, it'll give you the option to, um, let me go, I'll go here to this one. I think hopefully. So like here, I'll go to find a grave for this Edna White. This is somebody I was working on earlier. Now I'm on her find a grave memorial page, and with my sourcer, I click on that sourcer and it gives me several options, like to build an inline citation or build a narrative citation. And in this case, I'm choosing to build a narrative citation. And what that would do is just give me the sentence as well as this information that's here for Edna White. The same thing if I was on, let me see if uh, it would be easier if I had like a census record, because that's where that's coming from. Well, let's see. Oh, that's right. Jim and Nitley. Okay, so this is in family search. This is her census record for the 1870 census. And then I can go to the sourcer. And when I click on the sourcer, it gives me these options for an inline citation, a narrative, to a source citation, or I can also build a household table. And that's what that was, a household table. So I could click on household table. Now, the way I have my sourcer set up, that table, because I do it all the time, I have it included. So when I say build a narrative, it's going to include that table. Right now, it has built the table, so I can go back to that profile and then I'll just do a paste, and it pastes that table in there for me.
Okay. Now, when you were talking about the DNA, like I have a Wikitree account and I have my kit number uploaded,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no way I can find out if I have any matches.
The only matches you'll see are the Wikitree users that have added their profiles to Wikitree. That's the only way you would see matches. Wikitree is not designed to track that. How can I say it? To research that DNA information. So you would have to go to GEDmatch or Ancestry DNA or
Okay.
Family Tree DNA to get that type of information to find those matches.
Because I know sometimes Dr. Shelley was showing like on that Black Heritage thing,
Mm-hmm.
um, their matches. So how do you get that?
You mean for the connections?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So like for example, let me go back to Margaret. Where was I here? No, that's not Margaret. I've been doing a lot of different things. I got a lot of different ones open here. Let me go back to, oh, that's not my Margaret. Maybe it's easier if I just go back to me to find that Margaret. Um, well, first I'll show you this. This is connections to me, um, based on the information that has been loaded into Wikitree so far.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these are all my connections. Wikitree has what we call a CC7, which is common connections 7 degrees. So it'll take you out as far as 7 degrees. We can also, once you have connected to the big tree, the main global tree, you've
Mm-hmm.
got other options. And that's when you start seeing your CC7 grow. That's when you can find how you're connected, because every week Wikitree features different people. So like you could click on your featured connections and see who you're connected to of the folks that Wikitree has featured. So as you can see here, they haven't featured any of my ancestors or cousins.
Okay, so how do I get there? How did you get to that page?
On Wikitree,
Uh-huh.
you can on your profile itself,
Uh-huh.
up
Uh-huh.
up at the top here, you'll see your name,
Uh-huh.
and when you click on that,
Uh-huh.
you'll see, um, well, where am I at here? I can't see.
Now I see ancestors, compact tree, cousin
Up,
base.
okay. Ignore that. I was wrong there. See, a lot of this has
Okay.
changed, so I'm still getting used
Okay.
to the far right where it says
Uh-huh.
My Wiki Tree.
Uh-huh.
You click on that, and
Is it
then
connections?
it'll say
Okay.
connections. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So it says I have 31 connections.
Okay. So that means there's more people in your family that you can be adding to your Wikitree to increase the number of connections you have out there.
Mm-hmm. So that's what that CC7 is.
That's that's what that CC7 is. That's the number of connections that you have, and it actually keeps track on a daily basis when
Mm-hmm.
you add profiles, how that is changing in connection to you. Like
Mm-hmm.
here, and I don't pay attention to this, but they like Queen Elizabeth II. So that's sort of their base. And then KB is Kevin Bacon. So, and this all started when they did like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon a couple
Mm-hmm.
years ago. And that's when they got the brainstorm. Hey, let's figure out how we're connected to all the different people in the global tree. And that's sort of what started them on that quest. Uh, and since Wikitree was developed by a Caucasian person whose ancestry is European, that's why they're
Mm-hmm.
focusing on Queen Elizabeth II here. But the rest of these, this is my CC7, and it's based on people I'm connected to, both by blood and by marriage, because connection doesn't necessarily mean that you're related to that person by blood. So
Okay.
yeah, connection just means, you know, you've got some type of connection with them.
Poppy, come here.
Um, yeah, so let me go back here. I don't know why this thing keeps getting in my way. Okay. So if I do like we did featured connections. So like here I'm connected to Patrick Henry, and we're 15 degrees of separation. So how is that possible? And so here's a breakdown. It just so happens I'm connected to Patrick Henry because of my marriage in how my husband's family progressed. Um, so it's sort of, there's another view that makes it a little bit easier for some people to follow. So this just kind of shows how that connection between myself and Patrick Henry has come about. And I just think it's interesting to look at that kind of stuff. I'm not as excited about Patrick Henry.
Oh, so you're related to the Hemmings.
I am not. This is on my
No, your
husband.
husband's. Oh, so your
Yes,
husband is.
yes.
So is your husband related to Tiffany? You know
Tiffany,
Tiffany?
Tiffany who? Haddish?
Tiffany Hennings.
No, they are actually on the Madison Hemmings side.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Madison was one of the children of Sally Hemings.
Right, right.
Yeah. So he's definitely been deemed a son of Thomas Jefferson through
Mhm.
DNA. They have confirmed that.
Oh, good.
Yes,
Okay.
that has been confirmed through because um, the the um, the cemetery where a lot of the Jeffersons were um, at Monticello.
Uh-huh.
They had a disagreement about the black folks that were claiming to be descendants of Thomas Jefferson for a long, long time. I
Hmm.
think at one time they were even on the Oprah Winfrey show and had a discussion about that. And then through DNA, it was finally confirmed, yes, Thomas Jefferson did have children with Sally Hemings. And so um, now Monticello is starting to allow any of his descendants to be buried in that Monticello cemetery. But for the longest, they were trying to get in there, and there's an entire group or an organization that said, no, you're not related. You can't be buried here. So, but thanks to DNA, that has been confirmed.
Now, does he know, someone wrote a book on that, on the Hemings. She was a journalist.
No, I don't know who that would be, but I know there was a lot of stories um, associated with the Hemmings.
Yeah, but she wrote a book, and she was on a lot of the talk shows about that book. And
Hmm.
then she was on a webinar. I can't think of what her name is, um, on that book on Thomas Jefferson she wrote. And she's a part of that organization.
Okay.
Uh, I can't think of her name.
Denise, is there anything that you that you want to that you want to emphasize? Let us know about Wikitree going forward, how it, what kind of tool it's been for you, and anything you want to add to your presentation?
Well, again, I think it's an awesome tool. You really want to make sure that you do your research. Um, I know a lot of people, otherwise, you'd end up with the same thing you have in Ancestry, where you've got all these different trees of people, and the information is not always valid. And one of the things that Wikitree sets out to do is to have accurate, valid information. So all of your data should have sources to back it up. Now, that source may be a census record, it may be records that you find on Freedmen's Bureau, it may be documentation in books and magazines and things of that nature. But the sourcing is the key thing to validate what you're saying, because we can all say we're related to people, but you got to have proof. People want proof nowadays,
Could you stop
and
sharing,
so
please? Could you stop
so
sharing?
that's what we want there in Wikitree is the proof.
Could you tell us your your accomplishments in Wikitree? Because I just want people to know that you've done a lot of work and you've been acknowledged in that on that platform, please.
Oh yeah. I mean, you had me stop sharing. It was all right there. They I've done over like I don't know. I think I'm in the 80,000 range now of contributions, meaning the number of profiles I've either added or updated. I am the one of the co-project leads for the U.S. Black Heritage Project. Our focus on that project is to get as many records about African Americans out there on Wikitree as possible. My
Wow.
passion is to honor and celebrate our ancestors.
Amen.
Um, and our newer generations may not have that information available to them, especially when you start hearing about some of the things that this latest administration is doing. It
Right.
becomes even more important to have a place where their history is documented. And Wikitree's mission is to be free forever, which means you don't have to pay to get on it. You don't have to pay to see that information. Although, that's the case with Ancestry, and the cost of Ancestry is constantly going up.
It sure
Um,
is.
yeah, Family Search is free, but it is not as easy to use, in my opinion, as Wikitree. But Family Tree has a wealth of information. They have a lot of records. Their database is huge. And what we do in Wikitree is help pull all of those different places where all that information can be found together under a person's profile.
Well,
Um,
well, thank you
so,
for your presentation.
mhm.
Does anybody have any questions for her?
I wanted to acknowledge Miss Jarrett. Um, you, what you're doing and what you've done is phenomenal. And we need more people like you out there. I just want to let you know I appreciate what you've done.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
know, and
My thing is, I think my biggest concern with Wikitree, as I said, it was developed by Caucasians, and 99.9% of the Wikitree membership is Caucasian. We need to get more African Americans involved in documenting our African heritage, our African American heritage, our Native American heritage. So we just need more people involved. I think I can count on one hand how many Black folks are actually involved in recording their information in Wikitree. So, get the word out and let's get as many people as possible out there and involved.
Thank you
thank you.
for contributing to the meeting. We
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that. And you had mentioned documents, and I want to share a new program that I signed up for. It was called the Genealogy Bank. Is anybody familiar with that?
Yes.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
What are your feelings on that? The Genealogy Bank.
I love Genealogy Bank. It has a lot of obituaries in there. I found out a lot of information about the family I was researching because of Genealogy Bank.
Yep. Yeah, that and it's equivalent to newspaper archives. It's equivalent to a couple others that track newspapers. So it is a good source.
I'm going to share my screen. Thank you for those comments. Share my screen. And can you see this screen at the top?
We see it. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Well, thank you for your comments because you uh, verified for me to purchase it because I purchased it just a couple of days ago. And I I'm using it for a couple of items, and you're right. It has a lot of information from the newspapers. The
Mhm.
census, you get them every 10 years, information about our families. But this platform here, you get in between those 10 years, there's things that are happening with your family and in different communities. Like in one of my communities where I'm from, Omaha, Nebraska, they had a black newspaper. And so a lot of their documents, stories are in that paper. And when I searched my name, some of those documents came up, not only from Omaha, but they came up for San Diego. And you know, it's pretty revealing. It talks about legal. It talks about legal challenges, court. It talks about, like you said, obituaries that you can really use to connect your families, and it also has stories about individual people in your family.
You
So
want to cut
here's
up some strawberries?
I'm about to take Penelope out.
Oh, okay.
and so here's one of mine. I searched my name. There's 14 newspaper articles. There was one obituary, and there's some other information. And I want to share this with you. And some of them they have the same name, because our names, some names are common, and you have to differentiate from who you are from another person. But I wanted to share this one with one. Uh, this is a newspaper article, July 11th, 1990, in San Diego. And I was a member of, I was a member of a trustee on the school board to help about expansion in our area. My son was at high school and Hoover High School, and we converted a mechanical shop to a health and social service center, and I was on the committee. And so it just talks about uh, a mid city starts at $90 million. It's a school study, and it's Wednesday, July 11th, 1990. And as it goes through, it talks about standing at the school board, and they're looking at plans to accommodate growth over certain parts of the city. And so, at where it came to my in the mid city projects, this one right here. As a result, many schools in those communities are operating on multi-track year-round schedules. Most classrooms are filled to capacity, and projections call for an increased enrollments through the end of a decade. And here's one of my quotes. We've been taking the brunt of this challenge for years. Now we need help, said Jerry Moll Sr., a member of the Hoover Attendance Area Committee. And so it has an article. The panel recommended the construction of a new middle school to ease crowding at Wilson Middle School, which serves about 1,100 students. And the committee also called for an additional elementary school to bring enrollments at the elementary sites in the Hoover attendance area down to 1,000 students. That being said, that's the article. And since then, we've had what we requested. Middle school has been built called Brookie Clark Middle School. based off this committee that I was on. And when when you have children, you have kids, and you have to be involved. And now the history shows that being a part, being at the table, you can make decisions on what happens as opposed to being the meal. And this is an example here, and I'm proud to have been a member of that committee. And I went to they flew me to Baltimore to see health and social services centers in Baltimore, how they were, because um, um, there was a component of it that dealt with birth control, and here we were more conservative, and so we were able to persuade the community to have a total health and social service center at the school. This is a paper, and that's one of the articles. And it's another one with this article. Since my son is here, there he is, Jerry Jr. Here's where there's another article. I want to share this with you. Right here, 2003, 19. Okay, let's do this. Him and I are avid fishermen, and when we fish, sometimes what we catch, they put our reports in the paper. And so here's one right here, and this newspaper is the San Diego Union, Tuesday, September 30th, and they have the freshwater fishing reports. So they go around to the different lakes, and after you get through fishing, you tell the rangers what you caught in some cases, if you have something worth reporting. That over the years, we have had things worth reporting. And here's an example. Freshwater at this Southern is the name of the lake. Southern. There were 84 anglers. They reported 8 bass, 47 bluegills, 33 channel catfish, 2 blue catfish. Last week of fishing here featured night fishing Saturday. Gary Smith of Compton and Ray Holden, San Diego, they had 7 channel catfish, and 2 of the catfish were albino for 77 pounds total, and one was a 13-pounder with mackerel and worms all over the lake. Now we're at the same lake with these gentlemen, and here we are. Jerry Moss Sr. and Jerry Moss Jr., San Diego. 2 catfish, 51 pounds, 50 ounces, with one of them 38 pounds, 38.5 pounds by Moss Sr. Chicken livers, East Bank. They returned on Sunday and caught 2 more blue catfish, totaling 32 pounds. That included a 25.7 by Jerry Jr. So that's an example of some of the stories that I found from this genealogy bank. And I just, like you said, I thought that was awesome to be able to. I have this program, and so I'm going to be using it more. And thank you for your input Grace and Denise telling me that you have used it. So that's one of that's one of the topics that I had on my agenda. And I shared that some of those stories with Jerry yesterday. Um, what did it mean? And I have the pictures too. But what did it mean, son, to see that? And now that you know the source,
It brings back a lot of memories. Um, sorry, I don't like to say it what it does for me is it just reinforces the fact that I've got the best father that I could ever ask for, got the best mother that I could ever ask for. And I don't take days for granted. He's still here. And when I go back to when I was a child, you used to take me with with you. You're going out, going somewhere, you take me. Whether it was to the gas station, whether it was to the grocery store, whether it was down to the gas station where you gamble, I was right there in the middle of all of it. I was right there. You took me with you. You also took me fishing. And I remember going out early in the morning. I was maybe 5 years old. And that dock down there at Carter Lake was real rickety. You felt like you're walking on it, you're gonna just fall through. But you said, "Come on, son, you'll be all right." And I was scared as hell. And it's nothing but this foggy, you can't see nothing. But I did it. I did it. I remember it like it was yesterday. And once we sat down and we put that pole down there, and then them big old crappies started coming up, and they were coming too. And then we go take them home, and then we clean them, and then we would take them around to family members, give some away, and then we come home and we fry them up and we eat. And that instills something in me. You can go and catch your own food. You don't have to rely on the grocery stores all the time. So when I went away to school, and the funds are a little low, I still got fishing pole. I got chicken liver. I got
or and I want to add, he went to Cal Berkeley.
and then I got fishing poles. I got a little Jeep, head to the lake, and do exactly what my dad taught me to do. And then you know what? I started catching, and I bring home food to eat. I could eat. I could eat really well, And so it's what you seen there in that those clips. It's it's more than just those words. It's what my dad, what he did for me, taking me and steering me the right way instead of being out on the corner running with the knuckleheads. I'm with my daddy. I'm with my daddy. My father always had something for me to do with him. Come on, son, let's go, let's go. And so it has a lot to do with my train of thought now and how I'm raising my children. I want them to be with me. I want them, I take them, I take them. I know they're gonna get out and do what they're gonna do, but I take them with me as much as I can because it it it, it means a whole lot for the child once they turn into an adult. And so that's why I'm here today. I don't come to a lot of the meetings and stuff, but I respect what my father's doing and where he's going with all this and how important it is. And that just seeing that my name right next to yours, it was just that's I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I got the best father anybody could ever ask for. Just want to say on Easter Pop, thank you. Thank you for being who you are and who you're going to continue to be. We don't always see things, we have problems. We get to give butt heads, but that's what it is, But when it's all said and done, I love you and I respect the hell out of you. Just want to say that. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be on your platform and to say what I had to say today. And Larry, nice. It was nice meeting you. My pop knows how to put you in touch with me. And, I talk to you whatever I know. And Grace, you superb. That was excellent, excellent, excellent. And Denise, the trailblazer. You keep doing what you're doing. Um, I could, I admire the hell out of what you just said and what you're doing. And so I just want to, leave it there. I've got to go. My daughter, she's pulling at me. But we'll talk with you a little later, Pop, okay? But I got to run out of here right now.
Okay, just one question. I think
Yes,
Denise
sir.
has a question. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Denise.
Yeah, not a question, but a comment.
Go ahead.
All the words and sentiments that you expressed about your father, beautiful. And in Wikitree, you can put those stories, those memories that you have about your father on his profile so that in the future, when your children and your grandchildren and so on and so forth go back and they look up Grandpa Jerry Brent Moss Sr., they can see what your feelings were about your father because a lot of us aren't going to be writing books. We've got all these feelings inside about our family members and the people we hold dear. And unfortunately, a lot of those stories leave with us. Well, on Wikitree, you can add that story to his profile so that future generations can see that, as well as the clippings. You can put links of those clippings on your profile, Jerry, so that that's there as well. Not everybody's going to be able to afford going to Genealogy Bank. So you can take a picture of that clipping and put it on your profile so they can see your name and your son's name and that you were accomplished fishermen. Thank you.
And Denise, real quick before I get out of here, just say these words to my dad. Say, Daddy, give that son that truck. I'm out of here.
Give
Well,
that
I
son
see.
that truck.
Oh boy, it's never a dull
Yeah.
moment. That was so nice to hear. Well, how we doing? Is there? I'm pretty. I have one other item, or Do you want to check on? I want to share one other item, or good for the day. How do you have something else that you want to go over?
Sure, you got it. Share it.
Okay, let's see. Okay, I want to share with you because it's came up a couple of times. I want to share with you um, some of the information. I received some documents from my two of my Caucasian DNA relatives, and I just need your input on this because I received it. Now it's been verified through DNA, and now I'm going to change my tree because after you do your research back after up to the second great grandfather, great second great grandparents, when you get up in the third great grandparents, in some cases, they're Caucasians. Would you all agree with that?
They can even be Caucasian at the second great grandparent level.
Yeah, they could be.
Hmm.
I mean, they can be Caucasian at the grandparent level. I mean,
Exactly.
going back further doesn't mean, when you're closer to you, it doesn't mean that they're not white. They're not
Right.
Caucasian. So
That's
yeah.
right. Well, this in my case, we know that the 1870 census is the ones that some um, some of the freedmen they kept the name and some changed, and I just happened mine kept their names, the Moss name, last name, surname, and two two DNA matches who had family history. They connected. They showed me and showed my my relatives, DNA relatives, how we're connected through the same slave holding family. And she sent records. And so now I'm going to change my I'm going to change my tree, but I'm gonna keep my original one, but I have more accurate information. And what are your feelings on that? Do I change it uh, based off of this records, or do I keep it the way it is, or just some input? And I'll show you some documents. What would you do if you received documents that verified that you're an enslaver and the matches? Go ahead, Denise.
Well, I mean, if you have new information and you've got the supporting documentation for that information, update your tree. I mean, that's the whole purpose of doing the research and tracking back. Um, if you've got sources, valid sources that are telling you that these other individuals are related to you, then you should be updating your tree.
Right. And then putting the source information in the tree.
Yes,
You don't have to really put the actual document in it, but just put the source citation of where it was found.
yes. Or who provided it. When you say other people have given you information, identify who provided that information to you.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that. Put this over here. Let me share my screen. Please allow me to share my moving this around. Okay. It's going to help. I don't mind. Okay, I'll do it. I don't mind turning my head. If I have two screens, and I want to see it on my big. Okay. Here, can you see this person?
Yeah.
Can you? Okay, that's Lauren Day Moll. And this, let me pick it over here. This is the this is the letter. Let me see if I can get it over here. And I want you to take a look at it. Her name's Lauren, and this was April 26, 2024. I reached out to her and she responded. So here's her. Can you see the letter? Can you see the letter?
No, we just see your
Okay, I'll get it.
we all we could see was your file
Okay, here you go.
and all the documents in your file.
How about now? Can you see the letter now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right, there it is. Sorry it's taking me so long to get back to you. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. This is from Lauren. So it's hard for me to show my work to people when I don't consider it done. I watched the Zoom meetings you and Tommy Lewis had with interest, and Tommy and her are DNA relatives. His research seems pretty solid, and I appreciate his openness to working with your group and to talking about the sticky issue it brings up. Interestingly, Tommy does not turn up as a DNA match to me on Ancestry.com anyway, nor do you, probably because the identical segments we share are smaller than 6 centimorgans. I'm sending you 2 documents at this time, both in text format, Microsoft Word, because she's comfortable with it, and a PDF in case you can't read the text ones. I separated them so you can have them side by side for comparison. Please feel free to share both of these with your group, which means you all. I would also welcome any corrections and additional information you or they are willing to provide. The first document is Moss Descendants and contains my rough drafts in outline form of the descendants of Thomas and Peggy Moss, and the descendants of William and Martha, Rufus, and Reuben Moss. Reuben Moss is my second great grandfather. I had not verified all these people in these trees. Some may be incorrect, missing, or in the wrong place. The second document is the Moss DNA Trail, in which I detail my understanding of what the DNA numbers mean. Then I list the people of color who are DNA matches to me and who I think are or may be related through the Moss family. In some cases, these folks have not made their trees public, so I do not have access to all the details of their ancestors. Maybe you or they can fill in the blanks. I'd like to have more time to do further research before sharing with your full group in a Zoom meeting. If it's okay with you, I'm still trying to trace all the individuals' names in the Thomas Moss will and the people who were enslaved by Thomas and William Moss in Alabama and by J.C.C. Moss in Arkansas. I'd also like to share with you things like the locations of the plantations on which your ancestors were forced to work and biographical information about Thomas and J.C.C. Moss, who appear to be your ancestors too. Would it be okay to think about meeting sometime in June? I can send you and the group information to absorb in advance. And then we could ask and answer questions in the meeting. I'm available to meet about any day or time, except that I'm on the East Coast, and I tend to get tired and incoherent in the late afternoon and evenings. You can let me know what will work for all of you. Thanks again for your welcome and willingness to work together. I cannot fix what my ancestors did, but I'm hoping I can at least help shed some light on the history of all my cousins.
Yeah, and I'm really interested in Reuben Moss. I saw in the previous file you were showing that he lived in Franklin County, Alabama, and
Correct.
that's where my family ended up. They came from Colbert County and then moved to Franklin County. Some of them migrated to Franklin County. So that's my area of concentration as well on that
Okay.
Moss line.
Okay. Can you see this one? I'm gonna
Yep.
make it bigger. Okay. This is one of the matches. Cynthia Barnes, she's the fourth and sixth cousin. Um, it just shows some of the. I had that in my file, but I'm gonna go to the documents that Lauren discussed. Oh, I looked at England. There's Tommy. him and his daughter. And so Tommy Lewis, that's my uncle. And his Val, she's my fourth to sixth cousin. And here's our common ancestor, Reuben Moss and City Roberts. That's our common. And and here's where this James Moss, Reuben Moss, and this is where it gets cloudy when I was telling you this is my second great grandfather, but the third, that's where these JCCs and Thomas Moss come in. But at 1870, they were living, the family was living with the black family, but the kids were mulattoes. Okay, so let's go. That's, mm, this is one of my cousins' trees, but I'm gonna go to the document. Yeah. Another one of my cousins. Okay, here's one of the documents. Let me see if the other one. Okay, here's one. This is the descendants of Roaring Master Slaveholder's file. And look what she did. She, like here's number one. There's a Hobson, Oscar Hopkins, Lionel Hopkins, 25 centimeters, match Lauren. So we talked about that Hobson on Freeman's Friday. I believe we had that name. And so here's a Joe Moss and his family. Look how she broke it down. And enslaved in J.C. Moss's um, 1860 slave schedule with Rufus Moss. And so then you come down. So there they are. Oh, and here's this Lucretia Moss. They have her. And look at, she used the color code and they have them. And there's a Jerry Moss, 1827. And and then she mentions the names, and they're all in the same, they're in 1870, they're in the same location. These people in 1870 are in the same location. So that's how she's getting them. She has them on on the slave schedules, and now they're free. And now we got their names. Instead of just a Jerry, instead of just Savannah, now that they took the Moss name. So that's an example of some of those. And that's Jerry Moss. Let's go to another one. Okay. Then it came to Glanville, talked about him. Daniel, and they're all in the same location. So now she's giving the history. You see what I mean? The descendants. And here's Reuben Moss right here. There he is in City Roberts. That's my second great grandfather right here. There they are. And they passed away about a week apart. There they are, May 16th, no, May 19th, 1918, and May 28th, 1918, in Los Angeles. Reuben and City. That's a great grandparent. And so here's some of the descendants. They did a descendant chart, and here's where I come in. There was David, Kenneth Moss, that's my father, and then there I am, right here, Jerry Moss. But I matched other Moss descendants, black and white. And so it goes down, and then here's this Joshua Davis, 14 centimorgans DNA match with Lauren. SM, 16 centimorgan DNA match with Lauren. And so, and I just showed you one of Val. She matches Val. That was the one to match me, Val Randolph. His 15 centimorgan matches. And Val matches Tommy 111 centimorgans. And then here's Mike McGee. That's my cousin, 31 centimorgans matched with Tommy. So you see, they have I have some records. And so does that information do you think I should add that information to my tree? That's my question.
Well, I mean, if you've got at least going back from you to the other folks that you know you are a DNA match to, I'd say yes.
Um, let me do this. You remember I said uh, uh the the McGee PM McGee, yeah, they matched me 151 centimorgans across 8 segments. So you see, we're connected DNA. We're all connected,
Yeah.
and so that's why, and that SM, 14 centimorgans across 2 segments. But that's what
Yeah.
that,
See, I don't think you and I are actually a DNA match, even though we've got the Mosses in our line.
you're right.
Yeah, because when I tried to find you, I couldn't find you as a DNA match.
But the on GEDmatch we have common cousins, correct? On GEDmatch,
I really haven't looked at GEDmatch. I think I gave you my GEDmatch number, but I haven't really looked at it.
yeah, I did. We do match on GEDmatch, and that's where we could with Grace we can come up with that. And so that was the descendants. Look at this. I'll just show you this one. So can you see the trail?
Yeah, see, I see Reuben, and Reuben was in Alabama, but I haven't seen anything of Edmund or Margaret. And that's my direct line of Mosses is Edmund Moss, who was actually from Virginia, and he was a free people of color in Virginia, so he was never enslaved.
Well, here's what she did. Like now these are the Moss Trail. 50
Mm-hmm.
matches, 12 DNA matches with descendants of JC, 5 matches to her of Reuben Moss, ranges from 15 to 16, 4th generation Rufus and the whole thing. And then she just goes on and lays DNA matches who are proven or probable descendants of Rufus Moss. Reuben Moss. They matches. Those are those. And these are Reuben Moss. These are my cousins. McGee, Val, Yvette. Those are proven. And so, and then she did this chart, the generational chart.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that by the numbers, and then it comes down to the different ones. And Lauren's relationship suggested, and she's working on it, talking about William, where he was born, and then and his dad, where the family came from, and it tells a story, and so and what this says is this is one of the words. Can you see this? It says sadly, it's unlikely we will ever be able to prove who the mothers of Rufus and Reuben were. Rufus' mother was probably one of the women named in the Thomas Moss's 1849 will, possibly Annie or Tilda, who were probably the two black women aged 30 and 40 listed in the 1850 slave schedule of the Thomas estate. Reuben's mother might also have been Annie or Tilda, or probably another woman enslaved by J.C.C. Moss, maybe Martha, who was married to William Jack Moss. And so she said, I want to acknowledge here as a side that the fact of a white slave owner, or most any white man in the 18th and 19th centuries, in this country, having sex with an enslaved woman should never be considered consensual. It may or may not have been violent, but as long as any man is in a position of power over any woman, there's no such thing as consensual sex. It is assault.
Yeah, that's true. And but what you got to keep in mind sometimes, because people tend to, and Dr. Shelley Murphy says this quite often, is that we've got to get out of that 20th century mindset when we're looking at these records. We have to remember, just like she said, in the 18th century, that's what slave owners did. You know, they had sex with other women other than their wives if they were married. So, and in some cases, well, in most cases, they respected the white women in the South. So they went to the black women and they forced them to have sex with them. So we know that. We know that as a fact. We've got DNA proof that that was happening.
And here's the will that she referred to. Yes, it has all the information on the will.
Wait a minute. Go back up. I saw Edmund up there.
Yeah, Edmund and Peggy.
Uh,
Old Edmund and
let's
Peggy.
see. Where all my debts before it went to the money, and then I bequeathed to my beloved wife Peggy. Household. Yeah. Support all the following Negro slave, to wit, Randall, um, Edmund, and old Peggy, and the little Negro girl Mary. And as much of my land to cultivate during her life as she may need to support herself. And old Edmund, because Edmund would have been old. What year was this? Is there a year on this?
Yeah, this is a 18 Thomas Will. It's in Russellville, Alabama.
That's where
November.
my people were. Yeah,
Come on,
in
cuz.
Russellville. Yes.
I'm coming at you strong.
But
I got the
that's why I
information.
said, what year was this? Because Edmund was born in like 1803.
Yeah, this is uh Thomas's will, Russellville, Alabama, November 23rd, 1849. This is
Okay,
page
so yes,
1 or 2.
yeah. I wonder what he's calling old when he said old Edmund.
Well,
because he
we
would have
we
only been in his 40s.
well we got but I got, but I don't want to flip too fast because you picked up on something on that. So, so that being said, you can just look at some more of it as I just go through. Because remember, my my meetings are uh, recorded, and someone at another time can stop and look at it. That's why I take time, and it has their names.
Mm-hmm.
But you better believe if it's Russellville, Alabama, it's a pretty good chance that it's a pretty good chance that they know. They we're close. That's all I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
you. We're close.
Yeah.
You don't see very many people that has this kind of documentation uh, that that has that kind of detail. And
Yeah,
then
that's true.
yeah, and so I think if we uh, the, they had a like here's an example of a slave. Okay, here you go. Let me share this one. This might answer your question. Okay. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's these these are the slaves by Thomas and his children. And here's the 1830 census, 1840, 1849, 50, 1850. Here's that Edmund that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And they said possibly he died in Alabama in August 1850.
Let me see if I what I have is his date of death, if anything.
And okay, there, old man Edmund and wife Peggy, old Peggy to the daughter. But okay, it's small. So this is an example of how she broke it down, and she went through some details, as you see,
Mm-hmm.
their names, and like the little boys. See, at one point they were the little boys, but now their names. See, they had first names, but by the time 1870 came around, and this is their names now. Post emancipation, then they started having these names. Yeah, William and Martha, Caroline, William. But at first they had, these numbers and where they went to.
Yeah. I'll just have to find some time. I'll have to.
And then 1860, there's some chronological here they are right here. 1810, 1820, the names, males and sons.
Yeah.
1830.
Yeah. And that's all in Franklin County, those mosses. But my understanding is that Edmund was a free person of color in Virginia. So unless he was abducted and re-enslaved or enslaved, uh, he was a free person of color when he came to Alabama.
Okay, here,
That
here, Here it is. Here's this Edmund right here. There he is.
Yeah,
Edmund,
but that Edmund is showing up as a slave of Thomas Moss.
right.
And and again, that's in the 1850s. My records indicate that Edmund was a free person of color. He was listed on his own in the 1850s. So I'll have to, and again, without a DNA match, your Edmund could be my Edmund or not. Yeah. There's Margaret Moss. Let's scroll back again. Margaret Moss.
Oh, see, this is her. This is her will.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's the same Margaret.
Randall. So this goes into this. But I do know as we go down, she has their names now. See,
Mm-hmm.
and they all were in the same they after they were emancipated, they all lived in the same area in Arkansas. They were enslaved in
Well,
Alabama.
this is all showing Franklin County, Alabama.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. So that's a lot of people, isn't it? I got a lot of relatives from there, right? There it is, 1850 slave schedule. And summary of records by this JCC Moss. He's the one that definitely matches them through DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And so 1850, 1860, 1870, 1880. Now they got their names. See, 1850, they said who they were, their names, Granville. And then they started coming over here. And this is my family right here, 1880s and 1870s. We have Reuben Moss and City. Here they are right here. See them?
Mm-hmm.
Those are my family.
Yeah.
Reuben and Thomas and all them.
Mm-hmm.
And then here
So
they
your
are.
family was in Arkansas. Mine was in Alabama.
Yeah, what in
In
1870.
1870. Yeah.
This is
In
1870.
1870, mine was in Alabama still.
Yeah, but mine's were they migrated over here.
Yeah, mine didn't migrate. They stayed in Alabama and bought farmland.
Well, they were taken to Arkansas uh, by the sons and the family. They moved from after the old man passed, Thomas Moss. One of the sons stayed in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
William Moss. He stayed there in Russellville, and his slave.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed there, but his brother JCC Moss moved with the mother over to Arkansas.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so they got so they just went through. They got some pretty detailed information here, as you see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm glad I was able to share that, and to let you see the detail. And any comments on that by seeing those kind of records that were shared? I'd appreciate some kind of comments on what you've seen from when I started to what I've shown you.
Yeah, I think Laura has done an excellent job researching her Moss family line. Um, and I think, she's got a pretty good breakdown there, especially when she's including the DNA. See, for my Moss side, I have not yet done that part. And, I'll just have to, as soon as I get some of these other things off my plate, I'll have to take some time to do that. I mean, the cousin of mine that was doing that research had passed away last year, so um, I'll have to try to pick up the stick on that.
Okay, my question to you is this,
So,
it's, go ahead,
I'm
Grace.
sorry. Uh, Denise, are you and Jerry related?
Jerry says yes.
To, to, to,
I have not done that research to
what's your GEDmatch number?
okay, I'll give it to you again. Hold on.
For 15 times,
Huh?
for about 10 times you've had. Denise.
That's all right. It's pretty easy to get to. I'll just go out here to my Wikitree page. And I'll paste it in the chat. Where am I?
Hey, Larry, what's your opinion of the records that I shared with you? Are you still here, Larry?
Larry said that maybe he left his computer for a bit, but he's still on.
Yeah, he's probably doing something. I remember seeing
Maybe he went
yours.
to eat.
Kidding. Um, so you put it in the chat. Uh,
Yeah, just did it.
okay.
I'm sorry, Jerry. I couldn't get back to the screen.
Yeah.
Hey, but look, you know what you got. Ain't nobody got shit like that, you know? So I'm envious. Okay? So shut the anyway, goodbye.
Yeah, man. My question to you, Denise, is that some information? Is this? Oh, she said I could share with my group. Is that something that would uh, that on my profile on WikiLeaks that I can add?
Uh, yes. The information that she's provided to you,
Yes,
you can create the profiles for those folks that are in that document if
but
they're
not
not
but not
if they're not already out there.
not the document as it is, huh?
Um, yes, you could attach the document as well.
Uh, um, in my profile somewhere.
You could connect it to your profile, yes. I would suggest making it a space page and putting that documentation on a space page. And you could title that space page Moss Family Research or something, Moss Descendant Research, something of that nature.
Okay. Uh, 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 Beloved Grace, would you do us a favor?
Yeah.
Would you do a comparison with
Okay.
Denise and
Okay.
myself, please?
Uh-huh.
While I scroll the screen. Yeah, here they are, and all of them are together, and it's 1870, Taylor Township, Columbia County, Arkansas. That's where they're.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're all together. All these different names: Jerry,
Mm-hmm.
Jerry, Rufus, Reuben. They're all in
Mm-hmm.
1870 census at this location.
In Arkansas, yeah, and see,
Yeah.
and mine were in Alabama. They were in Colbert County, Alabama, and then some of them migrated to Franklin County, Alabama. Um, so I'm sure there's a way that they connect. I just haven't had the opportunity to figure out how. And I still have to get the research that my cousin was doing because she was focusing on my maternal side while I was focusing on my paternal side. Um, and she passed away earlier this year, January.
Mm-mm-mm.
Uh, yeah.
Okay. All right, you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, this is yours. So far it doesn't come up.
Okay.
There is no shit. And I took it down to like 5 centimorgans.
What about the shared
One or two, one or
who
two
sh-
matches.
yeah,
Okay, I'll
who
do
shares
that.
two kit numbers?
Okay.
Well, that's good. For once we find somebody but not related. You know what I'm saying? Our family, like, you hear the guys talk about it. Guy
Mm-hmm.
Christian and Christian talks about it. John talks about it. Oh man, Dogamy, whatever it is.
Yeah, endogamy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So these are all people that match both of us.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Um, and none of these surnames are ringing any bells with me right now.
Okay. So let's see. What's the highest one? Highest one up there is
20. 20 for
Uh,
you as W.L. Berg
yeah.
and
yeah,
R.S. And then
I
Brenda
got
Streeter. And
yeah, I
Brenda
saw
Streeter is
Felicia
20.
Wood further down. I'm 33, 33 centimorgans.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. For Felicia Wood.
Now,
I have no
Tori Sims has a tree. Let's see what her tree is. Let's see. All she has is just two people in her tree.
mm-hmm.
Do you know Pearl Ann May?
No, uh-uh.
I don't either.
Okay. Let's go back to, there's another one that has a tree, and that's Ronald Bailey.
He has what?
He has a tree in Ronald Bailey. You know any Brewers?
I don't know.
Edward Bailey?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let's see his tree and see how far back it goes.
There it is.
Ooh.
Oh, he's got a pretty big tree.
It
You know,
does.
Ariel Lincoln, Jacob Lincoln,
Mm-mm.
Robert Wills, Hester Brush,
No.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Daniel Scott. They're in Virginia, 1797 in Virginia.
Okay. Well, thanks for showing me that. And
Here's Maryland.
what
Okay.
I what I'm gonna do, the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to upload these documents to I'm gonna have one tree. I have one that's private, but and you saw how Lauren had mentioned if she would have had some access to a tree that wasn't private, she could do more of her work.
For sure.
But like I got to maintain, you know, the accuracy of my main tree,
Yeah.
and I can copy it and then continue. Have one private and then have one, like a working tree,
Hmm.
and then upload all those documents so that individuals can see the documents. Upload them as photos. Isn't that what it is? Just documents.
Yeah. I I'm I'd hate to commit to anything else right now. I've just got so much on my
Oh
plate,
no,
Terry.
No, I'm not
I
talking
was
about
just
to your
saying
tree.
I'd volunteer to put it out there on Wikitree for you, but I just
Oh
can't commit
no,
to do
no,
that
no,
right now.
no. What I'm just talking about. I'm gonna do it for ancestry. I'm gonna do things that I can
Hmm.
control.
Hmm.
That's where most people will find them. Is when
But
they
I think you'll find more matches if you do it out there on Wikitree as well,
what
because there's over 41 million profiles out there on Wikitree. So you can't help but get some hits. But um
but I want to remove it. I want to take it from my computer and put it
sure,
where people can use it.
sure.
You
Yeah.
know, where my
Mhm.
and a lot of my relatives, DNA relatives, they can use it. If they saw that, they could use it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I'm getting contacts. I'm getting messages from people who say, "Oh, I'm related to Jerry, or I'm
Mhm.
related to um, Rufus,"
Mhm.
because I reached out to them and I use these names and I reach out, take text message.
Mhm.
So 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 that's why. And and my dear beloved cousin Lauren, she said that I could share it with my group.
Mhm.
So that's what I'll do. So thank you all so much for taking this time out of your, Resurrection Day, Easter. I just wanted to uh, continue to share and to listen to you all and learn. I learned so much, and thank you for your presentations. And it makes a difference. And this recording will go out to a number of people, and I've learned so much. Is there any closing comments? Are there any closing comments, Denise, Larry, and then Grace? No.
Just you know, keep researching, keep looking for your loved ones. We need to honor our ancestors every single day. Um, Not just during Black History Month, but 365 days of the year. We need to honor our ancestors, and we can do that by telling their stories and bringing them back to life, so to speak, on Wikitree.
Yeah, I agree with Denise. And then even at the point that where you can even blog about them and eventually one day write a book.
Yes.
That's a good idea. And Larry, did you write a book, or were you close to writing one?
Not really.
Well, I can through I got Family Tree DNA, Family Tree Maker, and some one of my cousins has done that before. You can write books through Family Tree Maker.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, you.
Yeah. Yeah, I for our family reunions, I generate those family heritage books to share at the reunions. Yeah.
Well, I think this information that I have would be able, it would be, be it could be useful. I can use these documents and just start putting them in order.
Yes, you
So
can.
organize them.
Yep.
That's what I'll do. Hey, Larry, I'm
Yes,
making
sir.
I'm making a recommendation. I'm talking to Grace and these that Larry is the MVP today for hanging in there and finding out some information that he didn't have. And I recommend him to be I, I nominate him to be the MVP today. All
Oh,
in
wow.
favor? All in favor?
Oh, I second. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Thank you, Larry.
All righty.
All right, everyone. I guess we have tasks, and let's continue and look out for others. And it's just
Hey, Grace, I want to get back with you.
Hey, I'm going to email you that. So,
Okay.
and my email will be my phone number. So
Right,
you can
right,
call me
right.
anytime.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
thanks for being on your almost best behavior, cousin Larry.
What?
Anyway.
I ain't got nothing. But, hey, I enjoyed it. It just shows you I've got to get more into the technical area, you know.
So that's good. You're there though. You you have a lot. You got a lot of information, and you're sharing it. That's the key. Thank you so much for joining everyone. So enjoy the rest of the day. It's all good. It's all God.
All
All
righty.
righty.
Take care.
All
Bye.
right.
Good night.
Bye.